Hello students, you're welcome to economics class. So the focus for this class is we are basically discussing about the introductory aspects of economics. So the objective of this class, at the end of this topic, you should be able to understand the basic meaning of economics. You should be able to define wants, define needs, opportunity, cost, scarcity, and choice. And you should be able to differentiate between the branches of economics, which is the microeconomics and macroeconomics. Get your writing materials ready and we'll be right back. So our first objective is what is economics. So economics does not have a specific definition. So there are different people that have defined economics in different ways. So moving on, we see Adam Smith defined economics as wealth of nations, and Professor Alfred Marshall defined economics as welfare. Robbins, Scarcity, and Paul Samuelson defined economics as a growth-oriented subject. So let's look at the historical definition of economics. Adam Smith, 1776, defined economics as an inquiry into the nature and the causes of wealth of nations. So John Stuart Mill in 1843 defined economics as a science that examines the production and how wealth is being distributed, as distribution of wealth. Alfred Marshall in 1890 defined economics as a study of mankind in an ordinary business of life. Lionel Robbins, 1932, defined economics as a science which studies human behavior and the relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. While Paul Samuelson defined economics as a study of how the society make use of scarce resources to produce valuable commodities and also distribute them among people. So there's no specific definition of economics. We have different people that have studied and brought out their definitions. So moving on, what are the basic concepts of economics? We have wants, scarcity, choice, opportunity cost, and scale of preference. So when we say wants in economics is a desire. Like for example, you desire a car, a huge car. That is wants. It's different from need. Need is what you need. Need is way more beyond wants. Like as what you need for survival. That's its basic human needs. We have water, we have shelter, we have food, and we have clothing. But when you say wants, it's just a wish, just a desire. It might not necessarily be what you need at that moment. So in economics is defined as a desire or wish for goods or services, and they are not essential for survival. Like I said earlier, needs are essential for survival. Food, you need food to survive. You need shelter, you need clothing, and wants are often influenced by cultural factors, social status, advertising, and personal preference. Like for example, maybe in a particular part of the world, maybe they like to wear a particular dress, so you just, it's a want. It might not necessarily be what you need. Or maybe social status, you feel okay, you have a huge amount of money and you want satisfaction, you want something that is different from what you already have. You want to get a vehicle, you want to build the larger, you want some luxury. So those are wants, they are not necessarily for survival. So moving on, scarcity. When we say scarcity, scarcity means, you've heard some, oh, this thing is scarce. You want to buy some materials in market and you've toured around a particular market and you didn't find that says that thing is scarce. Or for example, a supply is not meeting a particular demand in a particular demand, might so there's scarcity of some goods. So scarcity is limited resources used in satisfying human wants. Human wants are unlimited, so you have a lot, you just want a lot for satisfaction, but there are limited resources to meet this demand. So what is law of scarcity? An economic system cannot produce, because human beings always want this, even if they meet that particular need or want, they still want more. So an economic system cannot produce all goods and services that consumer wants, and most consumers do not have resources to purchase everything they want. So it's a two-way thing. Economic system cannot meet all human wants, because human wants is insatiable, is unlimited. While in another case, human being might not be able to acquire all these things they want due to limited resources. For example, you have a list of things you want to get, and you have limited cash, so you just have to get the most important thing, and that will inform your choice. That's where scale of preference come into place, opportunity costs come into place, and it informs your decision making. So we move on to what is scale of preference. So scale of preference in economics is a list or ranking of wants arranged in order of their priority, in order of importance. For example, you have a checklist of things you need in school. You are a boarder in school, so you have a checklist of the things that you need to take to school. But sometimes you have limited resources to meet all these needs, so you just have to arrange them in order of priority, the ones you need first. For example, you need writing materials, you need your bed sheet, so other things maybe that does not fit into that particular need at that time should be ranked at the lowest stage, but the ones that is more important should be put at the top, as you have to arrange your needs in order of priority. That's what scale of preference is basically means. So what are the importance of scale of preference? Why scale of preference? One, it helps in resources management. For example, like I said, you have limited resources to get something. So when you arrange them in order of priority, you'll be able to get the most important one that meets your need at that particular time. So it's informed, effective decision making. You are able to make right choices. You want to you prepare some food, so you need to get the most important ingredients. So it will inform the choices when you go to market. So these are the things I need to actually make to get these results. So, and then optimal satisfaction. You feel this satisfaction that okay, your need at that point or the result is achieved. So that's the importance of scale of preference. It helps you to arrange your needs in order of priorities. Moving on to opportunity cost. Opportunity cost refers to the value of the next best alternative. For example, you have two options, and this option, let's say, will give you more value. Let's say option B is going to give you more value than option A. So that's what opportunity cost is like. You are foregoing something to get something valuable. That's the cost. You are let me just, because of this benefit, I'm going to forego this particular need and get this thing. So for example, I stated an example in this picture here. You have, like, let's say $100 at hand, and you have the option of spending it on a trainers or investing it. So looking at this option, so say when you invest that $100, you will get 5%, and you have the option of maybe buying the sneakers. So if you buy this shoe, that means you are trading on the $5 opportunity cost. But whereas if you invest it, you'll get the value, like you'll get more benefits than buying the shoe. So that's opportunity cost. So is reversed to the value of the next best foregone when a choice is made. So it informs your choice. You are able to think of the right choice to make. So in other words, it represents the benefits you miss out on when you decide to pursue one option over another. So if you decide to buy a trainer, that means you miss the benefit of 5% interest. So then what are the importance of opportunity cost? That's efficient resource allocation. It also informs decision making. Yes, moving on, here we have branches of economics. So there are two main branches of economics. We have the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. Other branches are development, economics, behavioral, environmental, and many more. But we are focusing on the two main branches of economics, microeconomics and macroeconomics. What is microeconomics? Microeconomics and macroeconomics are the two main branches of economics. So macros is derived from a Greek word, and in English it means small. So macroeconomics means study of small units of economy. And for example, demand and supply is basically employed in firms, industry, even individual. So it's mainly, the examples include demand and supply, price determination, we want to understand consumer behavior, production, and cost. For macroeconomics, the macros is derived from a Greek word, and the meaning in English is known as large. So when combining the two words together, that's the study of economy as large, that's study of large units of economy. And for example, we have national income and output, inflation, unemployment, economic growth. So moving on to the main differences between macroeconomics and micro. So looking at the meaning, macroeconomics maximize national income and growth. For micro, maximize welfare of individual and companies. The scope for macroeconomics, it involves a wider scope, while for microeconomics it involves like a narrow scope, like you are just very small units. So demand and supply, for macro it explains equilibrium and aggregate demand of supply in the economy, but for micro we are looking at it's explaining demand and supply at individual or business level. For economic or individual growth, for macroeconomics focus on the betterment and growth of an entire economy, but looking at microeconomics, it focus on growth and development of individuals, firms, or companies. Then for savings and investment, for macro, it promotes aggregate demand and investment in an economy, while for micro, it maximizes individual welfare by saving more and spending less. So these are the main differences between macroeconomics and microeconomics. There are more, you can check out for more, but these are the ones that we picked out for the purpose of this class. So that comes to the end of this introductory class. So if you have any question, make sure you drop them in the comment section, or any clarity on anything, make sure you drop them in the comment section, and see you in the next video.
Hi, if you have not subscribed to this channel, you can do so in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And don't forget to hit